Welcome to Stretched Unscripted. I'm your host, Dr. Roger Kollock. I'm professor at the University of Tulsa within the College of Health and Natural Sciences, the Oxley College of Health and Natural Sciences. So before we get started, I'd love to just give a big shout out to our sponsors, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Oklahoma, Intelligent Community Initiative, and also a big shout out to Catalyst Co-working, who has been gracious enough to allow us to host our podcast here in their facility. And our guest for today is Meredith Wasson, and she is a licensed athletic trainer here in the state of Oklahoma, and she's also a clinical assistant professor at the University of Tulsa within my very college, the College of Health and Natural Sciences. So, Meredith, welcome.
Thanks. Good to be here.
Great. So, how are things going? I know you got a big marathon that you're training for, half marathon, right?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, the Route 66 half marathon is in about 10 days, I think. So we're zeroing in on the home stretch, and it's my third half marathon. So I'm hoping, my goal is to break 2 hours.
2 hours.
Yeah,
cool.
It's kind of a big barrier.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I do not have aspirations to do.
Not a runner?
No, I'm not a runner. I take that back. I am a sprinter, okay? So if the race can be done in between 10 and 15 seconds, then we're good.
Yeah.
Past that, that's not happening.
Yeah.
It's a shutdown.
No, I've been running for maybe, 3 to 5 years. I'm like mostly new to the longer distances, but when I played soccer growing up, I was a goalkeeper, so I was not good with the cardio. So this is like
Okay.
It was a new challenge. I was more into the quicker plyometric movements before. Yeah.
Cool. So you said it's your third one.
Yeah.
So it's your third half.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what other races have you done?
Well, last spring I went with a friend to Bentonville, Arkansas, for their half marathon, which was pretty fun. Have you been to Bentonville?
Yes.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that town. So we ran part through their trail system, and it's a little hilly, but it was a good race. And then a year before that, I did the Oklahoma City Memorial half.
Cool. Very nice.
So,
Very nice.
Yeah. I kind of think it's more fun to go to a destination city. Like I want to go to San Francisco or Nashville or something for one, but
That sounds pretty
we'll
cool.
see. Tulsa will be fun.
Yeah, maybe them. I don't know. I'm kind of like, I guess you could only, do they have are you able to do like a half at like Boston or New York, or is that only fulls?
No,
How does that work?
Boston's only full, I think. I'm not really sure about New York. But, it's interesting. Tulsa, this particular course is known to be pretty challenging. Like when I started telling people, well, I'm trying to get a PR on this one, they're like saying that this course is super hilly compared to most.
Okay.
Which I don't really think of Tulsa as being particularly hilly, but I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah, okay, cool. Well, good luck in that upcoming race. When is it again?
I think it's the 22nd.
22nd.
Yeah.
This month.
Yep.
Okay, cool deal. All right. So, what's the training like for something like that?
Like how long?
Yeah. So, what does your normal training routine look like to get you ready to do a half?
Yeah, I go on the light end of things because I found my joints don't really like running more than about 3 days a week.
Okay.
So I do 2 medium distance runs and then 1 long run a week, and then I'll try to do cardio like some low impact like on the Peloton or something to get a 4th workout in. And I've been specifically upping my distance for like the last couple months for this race, but as long as you have like a foundation, you can get ready in 6 weeks or so.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about sports medicine. I know that's something you're super passionate about. Obviously, clinically, you're an athletic trainer. Academic background, kind of focusing on the same thing. You're a graduate of the University of Tulsa.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like you did your undergraduate degree at the University of Tulsa in athletic training, and then you went on to University of Virginia in
Mhm.
Charlottesville. Cavaliers, right?
Yep.
There you
Yep.
go. Shout out to the Cavaliers. Give them a shout out.
Go Wahoos.
There you go. And now you've just completed your doctorate in athletic training at Temple University out in Philadelphia, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah, cool deal. All right, that's kind of close to my neck of the woods. I'm originally from Jersey, so
Oh yeah.
South Jersey, so we're kind of right outside of Philadelphia, so
Yeah.
very familiar.
We went, so that was obviously because I was still working here. That was an online program. So it was interesting because, of course, every class was on Zoom, and it's a small cohort. My cohort was, I think, 10 of us graduated together, and we have about 3 or 4 professors that kind of cycled through over the course of a few years, and we all went in the spring to graduation. So we all went in person for their annual commencement and got to see everyone in person. And it was so interesting because we really did kind of develop good relationships with each other, even though we weren't actually in real life seeing each other. So that was cool. But Philly was awesome. We had a good, quick weekend in Philly.
Okay. Did you get down to South Street?
I don't know.
Oh, you got to get down South Street.
What's South Street?
That's the spot you go. It's just cool to hang out. You can kind of walk it. Tons of like little stores, restaurants, all kinds of stuff. It's just it's just super awesome.
We went to this restaurant as kind of a nice celebration that was an Italian place. I could not tell you where in the city it was, but it's famous because it was in Rocky.
Okay.
And it was really good food, but the interesting part is all their wait staff are classically trained opera singers.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so I'd say like every 30 minutes, one of them would do like an aria in the middle, and they had a live pianist, and they would just like belt it out in the middle of this small little restaurant. It was pretty cool.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. I have to remember that if I ever get back out that way. I don't tend to get out that way too often.
Yeah.
Unless there's like a conference or something like that kind of going on. So let me ask you this. So when did you first know like pursuing a career path in sports medicine, and even getting more specifically athletic training was something you wanted to do?
Well, it's kind of an uninteresting start. I feel like it's the classic, I got hurt in high school and went to physical therapy and thought maybe I wanted to do physical therapy as a profession. And that's when I came to TU. I actually came to TU because I was going to play soccer at TU, which I did. The degree path that I chose was athletic training because I thought it would prepare me best for PT school, which I think is true of a lot of athletic trainers when they start out. That's kind of what they're thinking. But and I didn't have a whole lot of experience with the athletic training profession at that point. But I really fell in love with the atmosphere of college athletics and really enjoyed it, and thought actually this more fast-paced, kind of being able to be on the field and a little bit more, closer to the action really appealed to me. And so I kind of dropped the aspirations of PT school and just went all in on athletic training. And so, yeah, that's led me to some good opportunities.
Okay, cool. So I know, when you kind of first got started in the field, athletic training was a little bit different, right? We had Dr. Ron Walker here last week in our prior episode, and he kind of talked about his journey academically, and so I know, like right now, you're clinical education coordinator for the athletic training program here at the University of Tulsa. So, can you touch on, I guess, if a person is seeking to be an athletic trainer, I feel like they want to go in that route. Like, what does that look like in terms of like the progression and school and things like that, and how should they kind of best prepare?
Yeah, so it is different now from when you and I went through school, right? So students now would get their undergrad degree in something. People do all sorts of degrees, but exercise science, pre-med, biology, those types of sciences. But really, I think the students that set themselves apart have had some sort of internship experience or some sort of maybe PT tech job or something where they've had some experience in undergrad that kind of confirmed that they want to get into a rehabilitative science. And then when they come into our program, our master's program, they're just hitting the ground running. It's a lot of hours in clinicals. They're getting a lot of clinical skills taught to them in class at a pretty fast rate. So I think, students would do well to kind of prepare their study techniques and get their focus right before they start the program, because they're all pretty fast and furious.
Okay, cool. So if I'm a student interested in athletic training, I first have to get a 4-year degree in something,
Right.
And then I can't really begin working on a degree in athletic training until like graduate level, so like a master's,
Right.
or something like that. Okay, cool, very, very good. So, as I sit and I think about things, and even when I think about things in my own life, there are always been like people or certain, situations that have really helped me to become the individual that I am today. And without those things, I'd sometimes maybe even question if I would even kind of be here. Were there any people or maybe particular situations or circumstances? I know you kind of touched on a little bit, you suffered an injury, and that kind of catapulted you into this whole area of like sports medicine. So maybe if you could speak to maybe someone who was very influential in your life, that maybe if it's not even associated with putting you on the path to athletic training, but like really has helped make you the individual you are today.
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like, I don't know, I feel lucky in that there are lots of people that pop into my mind when I think of that question. And I guess that's really a gift to have had that, you know?
Definitely.
But currently, I look at some recent successes, that I've had and kind of what led me to that, finishing my degree. And, I've always had really good support from my family, and that includes my parents from a younger age and continuing on, but also, my husband and kids have been really supportive of me recently, kind of jumping back into the workforce. And then your guest from last week, Ron, he's been really influential in my career. And I would say, in undergrad, I had some challenges with some head injuries that made academics pretty tricky for me for a little bit. And he was one of my instructors at that time. So I like to remind him that I was still in school when he first started at TU. But he and a couple other people who are still at TU just showed like a level of grace and faith in me that I wasn't expecting from an instructor, that really helped me to be able to take time to get myself better and then move forward in the right direction. Mm-hmm. And then the same people, including Ron, have continued to just like show up for me in good times. Like they were at my wedding, and Ron and his wife were at my wedding. When I've had any sort of difficulty, I know he's a guy I can call. And when I've had confusion about what I'm doing with my career, he's also been someone who's just like, I remember I had coffee with him when my son was just born. And I was like, man, Ron, I'm frustrated because I feel like I got this degree. Then I worked in the field for a while. I got a master's degree. Then I worked a little bit more. And now, I don't want to go back into the same setting that I've been in college athletics. And I feel really pigeonholed in this profession. And he goes, oh, you should come talk to our master's students about that. And I was like, why? Do you want me to tell them that I feel this way about it? But really what ended up happening was I talked to him about kind of what I thought I wanted to do or what, had changed. And he just kind of, he didn't have an answer for me, but he like kept meeting with me. He's like, all right, cool. Let's meet again in 3 months. Let's meet again. And it kind of turned into, a position that I have now that I'm really loving.
Yeah.
Not in the clinical side as much, but helping other people to achieve their goals of being on the clinical side. So, yeah.
So that's kind of interesting. So you kind of made this transition from more of the clinical side of athletic training to more of the academic side. Do you see, like, as far as like your interaction with people and things like that, do you see maybe any like overlap between that, and how do you feel like, outside of obviously the clinical expertise that you now bring into kind of the classroom, how has like just those interactions clinically just help prepare you for kind of what you're doing now, more in terms of instruction of athletic training?
Yeah, I think, well, good clinicians are good teachers, I think, because, we've all sat in a doctor's office before where the doctor kind of gives you your diagnosis and writes you a prescription and walks out the door, and you maybe don't get the best explanation. And I think most patients really value a clinician who can sit down and, like explain what's going on a level that matches your ability to understand.
Yeah.
And so I do feel like in most of the settings that I've worked in clinically, I've been a teacher on some level. And I think when I am teaching our students, I try to impress upon them the need to be able to also, like, not only absorb the information that they need to be able to treat a patient properly, but you got to be able to explain it to them too. So it does kind of come full circle, Yeah,
definitely. So take us from the beginning. I'm always curious about that. So for a lot of our students, or I should say our students, our listeners, they're maybe 9th grade or 10th grade. I mean, it could be in 12th grade, and we have some college listeners too as well. But really, like, thinking about like those students who are just trying to, like, in 9th grade and 10th grade, just like, what in the world do I want to do?
Right.
I got like all this stuff going on in my life, and like there's so many different things I think I may be interested in. Maybe I feel like I'd like to do this, but I don't feel like I got like maybe the preparation or support, or maybe it's just like they just feel like it's just out of reach. So can you just, for the audience, just kind of walk us through what, and I always ask this to all of our guests, just walk us through your life. Start us off from the beginning. Like, what was it like growing up?
Yeah,
unpack that for us. I don't know.
Well, I can say, I think, if people don't know what their end game is at 9th grade, 10th grade, 12th grade, they're probably in good company.
Yeah.
Because I don't think very many of us, even if we thought we knew, it wasn't this probably, And so, I don't know. I guess I was just really focused on soccer in high school. And so, and I think even in college, I think when I finally had to stop playing soccer, I had to kind of look around and realize who I was a little bit and what I wanted in life, because I think I had built most of my goals around sports, like a lot of people do. And so it was good to have to kind of notice that there's more than just sports at some point. But I always tell, like, my freshman and sophomore students that I teach in like the strategies class, that you just got to take advantage of as many opportunities as you can, even if you feel like I feel like I did not think that I would ever work in an outpatient orthopedic therapy clinic. When Dr. Ploger told me that I had to go spend a rotation there, I like probably gave her the worst look because I was like, that's not what I want to do. I'm going to be in college athletics forever. And I actually think one of my favorite jobs I've ever had was working in outpatient orthopedics. So I think just having an open mind has helped kind of open up a lot of opportunities, you know?
Yeah. Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
So, if you had to, I don't know, maybe give one just kind of a parting words of wisdom to our listeners, what would it be? And it's okay if that comes from like somebody else, right? So, because oftentimes for like me, some of the best words or best mantras I have like aren't necessarily things that I like.
They're not Kollock originals.
Yeah, there's not Kollock originals,
Yeah.
right? And that's fine. So is there anything like that you like? You're like, yeah, I think they ought to know this.
I think just in life, I think relationships matter over nearly everything. I think how you treat other people and just how you engage with other people that's kind of more valuable than any degree you get or any job or position. And it also is going to open more doors for you than getting, the 4.0. And so I think just connections and relationships are important.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I do have a question. It just kind of popped in my head. And so when you were at UVA, were you doing a graduate assistantship?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you were doing that, what athletic teams did you work with while you were there?
At Virginia, I was just with softball.
Okay.
And that was also a sport I probably wouldn't have picked for myself because I equated it a lot to baseball, which it's not at all the same. I mean, it's similar in that there's a similar looking field, but it's a really different sport.
And,
yeah,
they have an implement in their hand, right? But it's a little bit different.
Yeah, so that was just softball, and it was that master's program was actually 13 months. It was just a really quick year-round type deal, so it was one season of softball. But I've also covered. I was at College of Charleston for a little while.
Okay, College of Charleston.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, Charleston's awesome. Yeah, I vacation there at least once a year.
Yeah,
have access to a beach house there through my wife's through her parents. They have a friend.
Which beach do you?
Isle of Palms.
Yeah, that's
so
really nice.
It's not their house. It's a friend of theirs, but they let us access it, and we hang out there for like a week or so, and it's pretty good.
So I lived in Mount Pleasant.
Okay,
which
know where
is
it's at.
Yeah. So just at the base of the bridge, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Definitely familiar with the area.
And Isle of Palms was one of the few beaches that they had like special dog hours where you could let them off leash.
Okay.
And I had a dog, and so on days off, I covered women's soccer at College of Charleston. We practiced early in the morning, but on days off, I'd get up when it was dark out still and try to get to the beach with the dog when the sun was coming up. And yeah, those are some of the best memories from being in Charleston. It's a really beautiful beach. But yeah, we had, so women's soccer practiced at, I think it was like 6 to 8. So they were pretty early mornings, but then they had to get downtown to their classes pretty quick. And so I'd meet them for a couple hours after lunch for some treatments. And then I was done because I had started as an intern. I had started at 5 at least, and was done around 2 in the afternoon. And I spent a lot of time at the beach while I was living there.
Yeah.
I knew it wasn't a permanent deal because it's it's a tough cost of living out there. But so I try to take as much advantage as possible.
I always say to myself, when I retire, I want to move out that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. College of Charleston is super cool because, like you were saying, like you were talking about the athletes had to get to classes kind of downtown.
Yeah.
It's like tucked like in downtown. It's like really embedded in there.
It is.
City's got that kind of old time kind of feel.
The
It's
historic,
like the history.
yeah, it's really cool.
It's really cool. Yeah, they got the little battery area. So yeah, super super cool. I know it had to be really unique experience just kind of being out there.
It was fun. The best was that in the spring I covered men's tennis there, and I really felt like I was, because tennis is probably, as sports go for athletic training services needed, it's one of the lower stress sports in most places. And there were palm trees around. I felt like I was sitting at a country club.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was
Awesome.
great. So
Yeah.
that was fun.
So, is there anything else you feel like our viewers should know? Any last parting words of wisdom that you maybe want to share, or anything like that? No, you already kind of talked about the importance of relationships.
Yeah, I guess just that, my path was really not super direct. So I finished my undergrad degree in 5 years, and then I did 2 years as an intern at College of Charleston, and I ended up having a couple people tell me, hey, you should apply to this graduate program at UVA. And I looked at it and thought it looked good, so I went, couple years off of education, then back on the train for a year, and then came to college athletics and enjoyed that for a little bit. But I didn't start my doctorate degree until 10 years after I finished my master's. And I don't know, just I guess I kind of always thought when I was in that 11th and 12th grade in a very linear fashion about everything's going to follow a nice stepwise progression, and that's just, I think, more often than not probably not the way it turns out for everyone. And just I think being okay with that has been a learned process, and probably good advice for others to just be okay with the fact that it might not go in this perfect order, and it's all going to work out.
Cool deal. Dr. Meredith Wasson, thanks for joining us today. For all of our listeners, if you would, click that like button below. Also, follow us at 918 Stretched on Instagram. And until next time, peace.